Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Los Angeles Open Series. I'm Glenn Jones, and I'm joined in the booth by James Gates.
Yep.
James, you're playing base red Boros. We just did a little bit of a deck tech with Ben Lundquist, who's playing the base white version of Boros.
Sure.
So we're going to go ahead over this version and why it's a little different. It's obviously you're a devotion-based deck,
devotion deck, yeah.
as opposed to just playing a bunch of efficient beaters.
Yeah.
So the big payoff is Fnatic abilities.
Yeah.
But you're going into white, which has a lot of cost in the mana base, right?
It's not as big of a cost as you think. You have a couple coming to play tap lands, but I'm only wanting one drop main, the Cackler, so it's a small cost, but it's not nearly as bad. And plus, you want to play the Scryland anyways, I think.
Sure, to help you from flooding, make sure you get as many threats as possible.
Make sure you just have a 2-drop on 2 pretty much every time.
Yeah. Do you tend to just have to mulligan hands that lack one?
Without 1 or 2, yeah, pretty much.
All right.
There's many, but this deck tends to have a higher end curve anyways.
Okay. Fueling the Fnatic, we've obviously got a host of double red creatures such as Ash Zealot, Frostburn Berry, the standard ones we've come to expect.
Those will be played in any version.
Yeah. And alongside them, Stormbreath Dragon, who's the big payoff for being red in this format, I kind of feel like.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Boros Reckoner too is pretty good with Fnatic.
Yep, very true as well. And Stormbreath Dragon is getting more and more unstoppable as people are kind of heading towards, especially like Detention Spheres, in order to be able to handle
Spheres, Aureus Charm, Chain to the Rock. Yeah, it's good against Wrath. It's just
Sweet
pretty incredible.
Creature. Another card that's good against Wrath. You have Hammer Purpose.
Yes.
I've seen this card appear in some lists, usually like a 1-of, sometimes a 2-of. You're running 3, so clearly you seem to like it a fair bit.
Yeah, it's metagame dependent, but right now I expected mono black, expecting the Night Control to probably be a little big. It's insane against all this decks. So.
It's very difficult for the mono black deck to answer. Obviously, outside of Thoughtseize, the actual mono black version can't answer. It just resolves and sticks.
Yeah.
Some people have been dipping into green for some Abrupt Decays, but obviously that card has a host of targets against your deck ananyways, so
that does.
Not really a concern.
And I did have it Abrupt Decay today, but actually my sideboard Boros Tron was able to take care of that. Yeah.
Could your opponent have decayed it if they did it on their turn?
No.
Oh, okay. We had the full wrap then.
Yeah. There's not much you could have done.
You've only got a singleton Chain of the Rocks in the main deck as for white cards, but you have a lot of white cards in the sideboard.
I do. Most of my white cards are in the board, yeah.
Those white cards are Boros Charm, more Chain of the Rocks, and a Summon of the Legion. A Summon of the Legion is obviously like an incredible weapon against mono black devotion, and it's just pretty good against most control decks, I think.
True.
Especially since they know Detention Sphere is not actually that great against your deck. There's a few good targets for it, but then you can present things like Stormbreath Dragon or Fnatic that get all their value otherwise.
And usually if they have Sphere, it'll be run out pretty early to stop the first assault, so you can kind of mop up the game from there.
Okay. You mentioned the Boros Charm. Pretty standard in red-white lists. Ben Lunk was obviously also running it in his deck, so no surprise. But what kind of work has the Chain to the Rock's been doing?
Chain to the Rock has been incredible. I also expect a lot of like junk decks, like black-green decks, that they have that 4-mana 4/5 Death Touch, Shroud Guide. This card's been incredible.
Okay. The Reaper of the Wilds is obviously pretty tricky to actually play with Shroud up the turn you cast it. It's not exactly a Titan. You can't just wait till turn 6 to play your 4.
Yeah, they usually run it out because there's not much that kills it. So
yeah.
They pretty much run it out on turn 4 and expect it to be fine.
And you are boarding additional 1-drops on
your
sideboard. You've got a playset of Fire Drinker Satyr, the new and improved Jackal Pup.
And he's really good, but I don't think I'd want him in the main. My matchups against Control are already pretty good, and he's really I played green-white, I played red-green today already, and I'm very, very happy I didn't have him.
Sure.
Main.
He gets outclassed really quickly in the other creature matchups, but against the control decks, you really just want more threats you can play, get them on the back foot.
He doesn't help with devotion, and his deck's trying to go a little bigger. And plus, I got a lot of tap lands on turn 1. So I just don't think he's the main deck card. He's fantastic though in certain matchups.
Okay. What's your record so far in the tournament?
5-0, and the deck's been running really well. I've played 5 different decks. I would highly recommend the deck.
Excellent. Well, James, may you continue your run. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me.